Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of The Spark. I'm Coach David here with you this morning. Want to bring you something that I believe is going to help you, empower you, and encourage you. Go ahead and shout somebody out and let them know that Coach David is on the air this morning and that I am bringing you something that's going to empower you. So, we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks mastering the mental. In other words, we want to make sure that we're in charge of the mental game, if you will, the mental aspect of our lives. We have been given that power. And what we got to understand is that there are certain things, as I talked about last week, there are certain things that we can control, and there are certain things that we cannot control. We want to master the mental by controlling the things that we can control. Now, I don't have time to go back all the way through last week. That was a very powerful lesson. If you missed it, just go back and look and catch it because it will help you, and it's going to build today from what we're going to talk about. So we're talking about controlling the things that you can control. One of the things, and one of the most important things I believe that you can control, is your focus. Focus. Your focus. Now, focus is your mental ability to direct and sustain attention on a specific task, on a thought, on an object. And while you're doing that, you are also filtering out all the distractions. Now, it's been studied and it's understood your brain does that for you in a certain way. But there's other times when, because of you giving your attention to it, that you're not filtering out the distractions. And so we want to talk about that because focus is very important. If we're going to do the things that we want to do and be what we want to be and accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, we have got to learn to focus. Now, I want to give you three key elements to begin with. Three key elements of focus. Number one is selective attention. What does that mean? That means I'm choosing what I'm going to concentrate on, what I'm going to give my focus to. I'm selecting that and I'm putting my attention there. That is by choice. I do that by choice. The second thing is excuse me, the sustained attention. And what that means is that I'm going to stay with this over a period of time. Because remember what we said that focus is direct and sustained attention. So we are talking about selecting it. Now we're talking about sustaining our attention on it. And then the third thing that we're going to talk about is sensible control. What is sensible control? That means resisting distractions or impulses, like the cell phone buzzing, things like that. Because truthfully, think about it from this standpoint. If you are in the middle of doing something and you're focused in on, let's just say, for instance, you're, I don't know, paying your bills and you're focused on paying those bills and you're going through that. And then the cell phone buzzes and you look over at the cell phone and start you have been distracted. And so what we want to do, we want to make sure that we stay focused on the things that we're supposed to stay focused on. We got selective attention. Then what we're going to do is have sustained attention. We selected it. Now we're sustaining it. And then we're going to have sensible control by filtering out all of those distractions. Now, we're going to go somewhere with this today because there's a couple of things that we're going to cover. Number one, no one can take your focus or cause you to lose focus without your consent. You hear people say all the time, he or she made me. Wrong. That's a choice. He or she didn't make you do anything. That's a choice. You decided it, you did it, and you gave up and gave in. Now, so with that being said, it is your personal responsibility because you get to choose what you're going to focus on. You did it to yourself by choice. So now we have to understand, I've got to accept personal responsibility for losing my focus. The second thing, we have the ability to think, to reflect, and to choose. So since I have that ability, even when I'm under pressure, I want to say this, even when I'm under pressure, it does not eliminate the choice. It doesn't. The choice to focus on or not focus on is still mine. I want to get that because here's the third part. Others can influence you, but you have the freedom to choose. Saying he or she made you do it is just an excuse. What you're doing, you are starting to give up by choice your focus. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that we have our focus in the right place. Boy, this is so important when you are trying to get things done, when you are moving through things. Focus is important. So we don't want to give it up. We want to make sure that we are in control of it, and we know we're in control of it no matter what's going on around us. Now, I've heard this, so we're going to attack this right now. People say, well, I can multitask. It's not multitasking, it's multi-switching. Here's why I say that. Okay, say for instance, I say, okay, I'm going to write an email and I'm also going to listen to a podcast at the same time. Now, here's the truth of the matter. You are not multitasking. What you are doing, you're getting bits and pieces of the excuse me, of the email, and you're also getting bits and pieces of the podcast. So all you're doing is switching from one to the other. You are not multitasking. You are multi-switching. Here's why I say that. Because the brain cannot truly multitask. A lot of people think that they can multitask, but what they're doing is just switching from one thing to another very quickly, and it's costing them. It's costing them quality of work. It's costing them, to be focused on one thing and get through that. And so you spend time going here, there, and everywhere instead of being focused. So we want to make sure that we understand this multitasking thing that people try to give you, just not so. I'm sorry. So let's go back to where we were, okay? Focus is a choice, okay? You decide what you pay your attention to. And believe me, when you give your attention to something, it's costing you. You get to decide how that is going, how you pay attention, what you pay attention to. You are deciding that. So here's the next thing. When you make a conscious decision to say yes to one thing, you are also saying no to other things. That's what focus is so great about. When I give it to myself and I choose and I say, I'm going to focus on my homework. When I say that and I lock into that, I'm saying no, that I'm not going to be distracted by my friends. I'm not going to be by my phone. I'm not going to be distracted by what's on television. Why? Because I chose, by choice, to give my attention, my focus to my homework. Now, here's the thing about it, though. You can strengthen your focus intentionally. How do you do that? Choosing to focus on one thing over another and sticking with it. This is a little thing that I do with myself sometimes. This morning, I went on a walk, okay? So when I was on the walk, I said, I'm going to practice my focus. So there were street lights. So I said, I saw the street light way down the street. I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on that light while I'm walking until I get to that light. I'm going to hold my attention on that. You can do this in your home. Put a little dot on the wall, on a piece of paper on the wall, and just practice focusing on that dot. And when you see your attention drift away from it, bring it back. That is practicing intentionally to work on your focus. So the thing that we want to do, we want to make sure that we're practicing, that we're working on it, that we're doing those things that will hold our focus, because you're going to be more beneficial to yourself and to others when you can focus. Now, this one right here is a big one, and people have talked to me about this before. What should I do when I'm in an environment where I cannot focus on one thing? Maybe you're on your job and you can't focus on one thing because there's here, there, and everywhere and all kind of craziness going on, people going and people coming, people talking to you, your partners in business or whatever the case may be, your coworkers are talking to you, and you say, I just cannot focus because all of this stuff is going on. Coach Dave is going to help you with that on today. Here's the first thing that I want to say. Remember what I talked about on last week? Control what you can control. Now, I get it, because I've been in a situation like when I'm teaching and something will come up and I will have to, I need to give my focus to this, but I got a class full of students. Okay, so I got to know how to work with that in such a way. I control what I can control. Sometimes you have to learn to turn your back or turn your face to the wall, practice your breathing techniques to slow yourself I recognize you're in that environment where everything is going on, trying to stay focused. I just want to give that. Don't beat yourself up. You just control. And the things that you cannot control, go. Don't. I taught you last week. When you start messing around with things, all you're doing is wasting a lot. Control the you can control. Here's just I would recommend to you. Focus. What is micro? And I carve out small blocks of focus. And I tell people that's what I'm doing. I'll give you a perfect. My students, I will tell them, give me 5 minutes to do this. Give me 5 minutes so I can focus on this. Maybe my principals said, hey, I need this information. I need 5 minutes. So I tell them, do this for 5 minutes. You give me 5 minutes and let me get this email typed out, and then I'll be back with you. There's nothing wrong with that. When you can tell people that, maybe you're on your job and you say, hey, listen, I need 20 minutes of quiet time to on this. Maybe your job is that critical where you need that. You need to tell people that and say, hey, listen, I'm setting a boundary right here. I need these 20 minutes. And then you hold people accountable to give you those 20 minutes. Like in my class, if the students start talking and they're trying to talk, whoa, stop. I need these 5 minutes. And so I've set the boundary. Here's the next thing. Acceptance, not attachment. What does that mean? That means I accept this environment for what it is. And it's not the best environment for me to focus, but I will not be attached to what's going on. I accept that I'm in this environment. Oh my God, it's all over the place and everything else. But I am going to do the things that benefit David in order so that I can be focused. So if that means that I need to turn away from everybody and focus, if that means hey, I need the carved out time to focus, if that means that I got to go sit in my car, and I've done this before, go sit in my car so I can be focused enough to make a phone call or to do whatever I need to do, that's what I do. I accept that I'm in a bad environment for focus purposes, but I'm not attached to everything that goes on. I don't have to get involved in every conversation. I don't have to laugh at every joke. I don't have to be a part of that. Why? Because I'm doing the focus thing and I need to be focused. Focus does pay because you're going to get better productivity. Mentally, you're going to get stronger. And also, too, it just helps with you when you're focused. It helps you also accomplish the task that you need to get accomplished in a timely manner. So I hope that this will help you on today. Controlling those things that you control, mastering the mentals, focus. Now, I'm going to leave you with this right here, this little acrostic right here. I think this will help you. Focus, Focus, follow one course until success. And I will share with you that if you would do that, the F is follow, the O is one, the C is course, the U is until, and the S is success. Follow that one course until you're successful. Focus. And I think that that'll help you. So use your focus on this week to get yourself back where you need to be and do the things that you need to do. I trust that you will share this with somebody and help them be empowered in their focus and master their mentals as well. And so if you do that for me, I will greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, anything that I've shared with you, by all means, please ask. Listen, I'm going to get out of here. I got a lot to do today, and I know you do too. But remember this right here. Remember this. You are the architect of your life. Coach David, I believe in you. I will see you. Bye.